Hello everybody, Roy Cohen here, and I'll be hosting this particular show, the Community Forum show, and as an aside, I must tell you that it's good to be back. It's been past few months have been quite an experience, I'll tell you. If those of you who have been following the politics, the national politics, you know it's been really kind of exciting with all that's been happening and the end results, etc. Well, Part 2 would be the Stoughton elections coming up April 4th. And April 4th we have a competition going on, something very rare for this community, and I'm delighted to see that it's finally happened. Something stirred it up. We have 6 candidates for the office of selectmen for 2 seats that are up for filling. We have 4 candidates for school committee to fill 2 seats, and we have 3 candidates for the position of moderator. And with that in mind, I would like to welcome Adam Dawkins. He's a candidate for moderator. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you so much, Roy. So good to see you back, and good to see you looking so well.
I appreciate that. It's also pretty good to be back. Adam, why don't we introduce you to the public? Let them know about your little bit of background. Tell them where you're from and what your plans are.
Sure. I'm Adam Dawkins. I moved here to Stoughton about 5 years ago, actually, from Washington, D.C., having grown up in South Carolina. I grew up in the town of Greenville, South Carolina, which is a town that itself is quite a bit bigger than Stoughton, but went through a good number of years of having to rediscover itself. It was a city that was very dependent on the textile industry for many, many years. In fact, Greenville at one time was known as the textile industry, the textile capital of the world, with the cotton mills and whatnot that my family all worked in South Carolina. And those mills went away in the 80s and went overseas, and Greenville really sort of fell into a sort of a deep depression in a place that was not a very pleasant place to be. And through very concentrated leadership and and because of the desires of the community and the demands of the community, Greenville really discovered itself again and reinvented itself in such a way that now it's actually a destination, that people actually set out to go there. People vacation there. When I go back to visit my parents in South Carolina now, I hardly recognize the city I grew up in because it's so incredibly different and so changed from the place that I grew up in. So, when my work brought me to Boston about 5 years ago, and I decided that I'd had enough of living in the middle of the city. I lived in the city in Washington for over 7 years, and I was ready to stretch my legs and have a sense of community again that you don't really find in the city. I discovered Stoughton and felt very much at home here, and arrived and really jumped in with all fours when I got here. And it's been the best 5 years of my life so far, and I look forward to many, 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 many nice, wonderful years here in Stoughton again. What I hear from the people of Stoughton and from my neighbors that I've gotten to know, and as I've gotten around town and have met many people in our town, what I hear from them is a real desire for a rebirth of Stoughton. For Stoughton is a community that has been so that has gone through sort of many different iterations over the years. It defines itself as so much more than a bedroom community for Boston. It's a town that is so unique and has such a focus on a strong sense of community. But there's no question that our town center is in deep disrepair. We are in desperate need for more businesses. We're in desperate need for more jobs. We're in desperate need for more opportunities and for more reasons for people to move to Stoughton. And I think that Stoughton's rebirth and Stoughton's renaissance is really tied inherently to the quality of its leadership.
Let's hope that the same thing happens as it did when you came from.
That's what I want to be part of, because I think it's possible, and I think the people of Stoughton want that, and I very much look forward to being part of that rebirth.
Let me ask you to start off the several questions that I have here. Why have you decided to run for town moderator? It's like probably one of the most important positions in town.
Absolutely, it's an important position. I've never been one to sit on my thumbs, and all the way back when I was, when I was a kid in high school. I was very much involved in student government. I was president of the Senate at the the Student Senate at the University of South Carolina. I've been involved in community affairs every place I've been. And when I came to Stoughton, that passion boiled up in me again. I hadn't been here a few months. I had only been here maybe 4 or 5 months, and I suddenly found myself a member of the board of the Friends of the State Theater, and was a founding member of that board, and worked with John Stagnoni and so many other great folks in the community to really launch that effort. And that really began my involvement in Stoughton. And then I founded the Facebook group Stoughton Enthusiasts, which went from 0 to about now almost 1,700 people over the course of a few months. That's a place for people to come and express their desires and their passions and and all the things that they love about Stoughton, and also to express their desire for where they want to see Stoughton go. And it was really from that place that I decided that I'm going to put my enthusiasm to work. And some folks had approached me about the possibility of running for selectman, but moderator was really the position for which I had a vision, and it's the position for which I have the most direct experience, having presided over large meetings in the Student Senate and all sorts of other things in my past that makes me, I think, qualified for this position, and because I think that. Town meeting as a form of direct democracy has to run in such a way that people are compelled to be part of the process, because it is a unique opportunity to make a real difference in the life of the community.
For sure. Well, I tell you, I've recently met you, but I have to tell you that I've been following you on Facebook, and your occasional lengthy postings have been very impressive. So I must tell you that it's a pleasure to meet you, and I wish you well with your endeavor, whether it's this or any other area with the town, because we certainly need people with your enthusiasm. That'll be great. Your purpose, you believe in conducting town meeting. Would you go the Robert's Rules of Order?
I would give that some very serious consideration. I set out on this campaign with the idea that I think Robert's Rules is the way to go, and the reason that I think Robert's Rules is the way to go all comes down to accessibility. Town meeting time is unfortunately not in the public domain. Now, town meeting time and Robert's Rules are very similar in many ways, because town meeting time was developed from Robert's Rules. But Robert's Rules is in the public domain. People can download a copy of that. I could print an expedited version of that and put it in the back of the warrant to give people access to see how motions are made, what order motions should go in, and what takes precedence. All of those things should be understood by everybody in the meeting, not simply by the moderator who's presiding over it. Town meeting time, however, is it's $25 a copy if you can get a copy of it, and you can't download it from the internet because it's not in the public domain.
Is that how the town meeting is run?
It's currently run on town meeting time, and I think there are things about town meeting time that are very useful, and there are many things about Robert's Rules that are very useful. My point here is to make it accessible and understandable in such a way that that it's a level playing field that everybody is able to understand and to participate in.
The town moderator has certain appointments that he makes on an annual basis, more specifically the Finance Committee. In the past, I've heard that the Finance Committee consists of members who are kind of stacked the deck in one particular direction, which makes it difficult to get things passed. How would you handle that? Would you handle that in an impartial fashion?
Absolutely. Right now the moderator makes the vast majority of the appointments to the Finance Committee.
Correct.
I personally would handle that differently. And I think we should look at the number of people who make up the Finance Committee. I'd like to talk with the Finance Committee leadership about the number of people who are on that, because Stoughton's FinCom is actually much larger than most of the towns that surround us. Whether we keep it at 17 or whether we scale it back to say 9. I think all of those things should be discussed and should be looked into to see if the number should be rethought. But I think that I think it's actually inappropriate, in my opinion, for the moderator to have the appointment power for the majority of the members of the Finance Committee. And I don't make these comments in any sort of accusatory fashion, but I will say that I think that it opens us up for the possibility of malfeasance. I think to have that kind of appointment power, and I think that we shouldn't open ourselves up to that kind of liability. I would rather. And right now, the charter calls for the moderator to be able to appoint, I believe, 8 members, or the majority of the members, 9 members actually, of the Finance Committee of the 17, which is the majority. Until we're able to change that in the charter, I think I would actually invite to put together an ad hoc committee of members of town meeting to help the moderator to make those decisions, because I don't think that should be. I don't think that should all rest on the moderator. I think that should be something an ad hoc committee on nominations or appointments should be helping to work out together. My hope would be eventually to spread out all of those appointments to the precinct chairs.
That would be nice.
And to share that, and let's assume for a moment that the Finance Committee were made up of 9 people. Well, I would think one appointment for each chair, and then one for the moderator would be appropriate. Okay. But that's just an idea, and I think there's a lot of discussion that needs to go
You're
into
open
that.
to make change. Okay.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I was kind of shocked to hear recently, that the town moderator receives a pay of almost $5,000 a year for running the meetings.
Yep.
If you take a look at the selectmen who meet every week, and they are the policy-making committee of the town of Stoughton or of any community, and they receive no pay. What's your thoughts about that?
I don't find it appropriate that the moderator receives the highest pay of any elected position in the town of Stoughton. I'm not running for this position because I want the $4,600 a year. In fact, if I'm elected moderator, I would ask for a motion when the budget comes up for consideration at annual town meeting. I would ask for a motion to reduce that to $1, because $4,600 might not sound like a bunch of money, but that's somebody's property tax.
Correct.
I would hate to think that my property tax is going to pay for the town moderator, because I understand that our current moderator suggests that this position takes around 400 hours a year. So if you take $4,600 and divide that by 400 hours, I think that's around $11.50 an hour. I'm not doing this because I want to get paid to do it. I'm doing this because I want to affect change, positive change in the town that I live in. So I would reject the salary for this position. And reduce it to $1 until we're able to eliminate it from the charter altogether. Good.
That sounds great. Another thing that really disturbs me, and has for a long time, is the participation in town meeting by town meeting members. Even filling those empty seats at the end of an election. You see some precincts have space for another 6 or 7 that haven't bothered to fill out the nomination papers. It just seems to be a general disinterest. What can we do to solve that? What's causing it, and what can we do to solve it?
I think one thing that's causing it is that town meeting has gotten such a reputation for being a slog. And town meeting should not be a slog. Town meeting is an opportunity for every person in this community to be part of affecting change for the community they live in.
Right.
That's what excites me about this. I wish every town in America, I wish every city in America had a town meeting, because what an opportunity to do as President Obama asked us to do in his farewell address the other night, which is to grab a clipboard, go out and meet your neighbors, and be part of affecting positive change in the world.
Yeah.
Town meeting is a great way to do that. Right now, I'm not entirely sure that people see it that way. I think people see right now a process that is that's difficult to understand. I think it's not approachable. I think people see it as a slog, as I mentioned earlier. It's a process that needs to be demystified for a lot of folks. And I think if we improve upon town meeting and make people understand that they can easily jump into this process and put their ideas to real work, I think people will jump back into this process again. As I've been talking about town meeting and the importance of town meeting with my own neighbors in Precinct 5, I'm happy to say that 4 of my neighbors in Precinct 5 that live within a block of my house, as we get together on a regular basis, have now filed papers to run for town meeting for this year. And I'm very, very happy to see that, because Precinct 5 has been one of those very underrepresented precincts for some years now, and I'm glad to see more people taking this opportunity to get involved.
Can we get a little more pointed and maybe assume that the way the moderator handles the meeting is a discouraging type of situation for people who might want to be part of it but are turned off by the way it's being run?
I think there's some of that. I do think that the way town meeting is being run right now is simply not exciting to people. And yes, town meeting can be. There are parts of it that certainly are less exciting than others. But what excites me about it, and what made me want to jump into this, is that this is an opportunity to be part of direct democracy. Mm-hmm. And democracy is not a spectator sport. It's a participation. By its very nature, it calls us to be involved in it directly.
I don't really mean to form an opinion, but I was watching one of the candidates come up with a rationale that the reason that town meeting is underrepresented is because of the schools. He blamed the schools because they don't teach civics to the point where students who are going through it come up and want to be part of the town meeting. I just found that to be an unbelievably bad answer. I hope that you weren't here when we had Bill Kelly as a town moderator, when we had Franny Crimmins as a town moderator, Bud McMahon. These were guys that were exciting, that were worth going to. They ran the meeting strongly and everything went along smoothly and never dragged on to like 7 or 8 days or whatever it was. I'm hoping that should you be elected, that you will then follow in their footsteps.
I hope to. I absolutely hope to. I think that Stoughton has a great. By and large, has a great history of good leaders, and there are many to whom I would like to look for to be good models for that.
Okay, what about the timing for town meeting? Do you feel that town meeting should be moved to a different time other than in May?
I'm not sure that the timing of that really, to me, makes a big difference. I'm certainly open to those conversations if others feel that way. I do, however, wonder about the timing of our town election in relation to when town meeting is. Mm-hmm. The town of Sharon, for instance, they timed their town election that it comes on the back end of town meeting. That means that those for whom the budget is passed, those people are responsible for that budget for the next 12 months until the next town meeting. Likewise, as a candidate for town moderator, the town election, I believe, is on April 4th, and then the first week in May is when town meeting takes up its business. I would essentially have a month to get prepared from my election until the first town meeting. I don't want to make any assumptions that I will be elected, but in the event that I am elected, I'm making my preparation starting now. Now, if I were elected on the back end of town meeting, I would have a full year to then start putting together a plan. Well, I have a plan in place already, but to be able to really affect that plan so that it actually affects the first town meeting that I would preside over. In a month's time, there's not a whole lot of time to make that, to put together all of the changes that I would like to see in place before town meeting. So I think we should look at the timing of our town elections for that reason.
When you mentioned the town of Sharon, I believe they have an open town meeting.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And Stoughton has a representative town meeting. Do you accept the representative town meeting as the way to be, or would you rather see it change to open town meeting?
You know, I think representative town meeting probably works well for Stoughton right now. I think there's some wisdom to keeping it that way because Stoughton is a town of 27,000 plus people. Right. And I think town meeting could potentially become a bit more unruly if we had thousands of people there. It's wonderful when thousands of people show up to be involved. I would love to have that problem.
But they would show up probably for one issue and then disappear.
That's right.
So we're probably better off with the representative.
What I would like to see, however, is that every precinct had a competitive race of people running for town meeting.
Well, with you in there as town moderator, perhaps they will.
I hope so.
There's going to be some new town meeting members this year, obviously. How would you prepare them for the meeting?
I actually think that one of the jobs of the moderator is to convene those who are not only interested in running for town meeting, but those who have just been elected to town meeting. One, to spend some significant time with those people in a meaningful way that helps them to understand what to expect at town meeting, maybe run through a mock article so they understand how an article from start to finish, what happens from an article's conception all the way through its debate in town meeting, to its eventual hopeful passage. I also would like to convene new town meeting members to understand what it is that has drawn them into being a town meeting member. What is it that, what is your issue? What are the things that, what are your hopes and dreams for Stoughton? And let's discuss the process through which you are able to make those changes in the community. I think that again, the demystification of of not only town meeting, but town government in general is important to people, because I think a lot of people in town simply don't understand how to push forward some wonderful ideas that they have. I see that on Stoughton enthusiasts all the time. People have wonderful ideas about the future of Stoughton, and they have many, many hopes and dreams about things they would love to see happen here. Let's discuss how that actually is possible and what we can do in order to make that happen.
Okay. The current moderator has been in office for 26 years, I think.
That's right.
I didn't realize it was that long. What's your thoughts about that? Is it time for change? Is it a reason for term limits or something along that idea? I mean, is enough enough?
Well, I'm running for this office because I think it's time for us to open up the windows and let in the fresh air. I've said from the beginning, I'm not running a campaign against Howard Hanson. I actually like Mr. Hanson very much. He's a very wonderful man. He's served this community dutifully and honorably for many, many years, just like his father and just like his brother. And I want to honor him for that. I think it's time for new and fresh ideas. I think it's time for new and fresh leadership, and to run town meeting in such a way that people really, truly want to be part of it, and it invites and encourages new people to jump into the process. And right now, I'm not sure we're seeing that.
Okay. Why don't we take a short break with some announcements and take a breather, and we'll be right back. Gina?
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society. Yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662. Or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m., It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Community Forum showtimes in Easton. Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesday at 8 a.m., Wednesdays 3 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. And that too, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 22. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
Monday night bingo at the Ahava Torah congregation, 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. It's a great night. You can win money. You can have fun. There's once a month they give you a free dinner, the whole bit. Doors open at 4:30 in the afternoon. Games start at 6:30 p.m. and I have the pleasure of being one of the callers every so often. So come on down, win some money, and if you win, you can give it to me. I'll take it. Get Fresh is Stoughton's own cooking show. It's great to watch. Sharon Fradkin is the host, and she does a great job with her guests, and they show you how to make all kinds of goodies. They have new episodes coming soon. You can watch it on Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon 28, Mondays at 5:30, Wednesday at 8 o'clock, Thursday at 9 a.m., and Friday at 5 p.m. Watch it. Stoughton annual election, what we're talking about today, is going to be held on Tuesday, April 4th. You'll be voting for new selectmen, town selectmen, school committee members, town moderator, and town meeting representatives. Be there, vote, and let's get some good people in the ranks. Adam Dawkins, he is our guest today. He's a candidate for town moderator. adamforstoughton@gmail.com, www.adamforstoughton.com. And you can reach him at 617-909-8902. And I can vouch for the fact that he will get right back to you. No matter how you get in touch with him, he's right back with you again. And that's it for the announcements. Currently, there's 3 people running for moderator, 6 for selectmen, and 4 for school committee. Why all the interest? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize we're out of time almost.
Oh.
We'll have to come back to that question next time. I appreciate you coming on board.
Thank you very much.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you at the candidates forum. There's going to be a candidates forum on February 23rd, March 2nd, and March 9th. Those are all at 6 p.m. They're going to be live here on Comcast TV. Roy Cohen here. It's a pleasure to be back, and we look forward to seeing you again. Adam, thank you.
Thank you, Roy, very much.
Okay.